Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamaśloke Bhaktirbhavati Naistake Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karvati Vachalam Pangam Langayate Kirim Yatkrupatamam Vande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramanandamavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhupayeva Cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्त बंधु की जय। Thank you for joining. First, we'll begin with Ramayan today. I think whole thing because I haven't covered. Now we'll first offer our prayers to Valmiki Muni, great sage, who has written Ramayan of 60,000 years of meditation initiated by Narada Muni, and then we'll go into the Ramayan. कूजन्तं रम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता अष्टकं वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्. I salute sage Valmiki, the nightingale, who sings in sweet voice the sweet name of Rama, the Rama from the tree of poetry. Valmiki मुनिसिंहस्य कवितावनाचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथा को न याति परां गतिम्. He who hears the roar, the story of Rama, of the lion, Valmiki, the sage who roams the forest of poetry, attain the supreme state. Yan piban satatam Ramacharitaamritasaagaram अद्रूपस्थं मुनिं वन्दे प्राचेतसमकल्मषम्. I salute the sage, the pure Valmiki, who is not satiated even after constantly drinking the nectarian story of Rama. Gospadi, now glorification to Lord Hanuman, is the topmost best servant. Gospadi Krutavarasim Maski Krutarakshasam Ramayana Mahamala Ratnam Vande Anilatmajam. I salute Hanuman, great devotee who is the crest jewel of Ramayana, who crossed the ocean as if it were the footprint of a calf, and who treated the demons as if they were mosquitoes. Anjananandanam Veeram Janaki Sokanashanam Kapitas Amaksha Antaram Vande Lanka Payankaram. I salute Hanuman, the darling of Anjana, his mother, who put an end to the sorrow of Sita, who killed the demon Aksha, and who was a terror to the demons of Lanka. मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि. I salute with bowed head Hanuman, who was the messenger of Lord Rama, who could move as fast as the mind of the wind, who was self-controlled and was the foremost among the wise, who was the son of the wind god and the foremost among the Vanaras, उल्लङ्घ्य सिन्धो सलिलं सलीलं या शोकवह्निं जानकात्मजया अदया तेनैव दन्दः लङ्कां नमामि तं प्रजली प्रजली Anjaneyam. I salute Hanuman who crossed the ocean playfully, who gathered the fire of sorrow that tormented Sita and with it burnt Lanka. Anjaneya Patalanam Kanchanadri Kamaniya Vigraham Parijata Taramola Vasinam Bhavayami Pavamananandanam. I contemplate Hanuman with wide forehead and golden complexion who dwells at the root of the celestial tree. It is mentioned that whenever we lose things, we are trying to search for the keys or whatever. We can meditate on one and we will be able to locate or find the things which we lost. यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्काञ्जलिम् बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमता रक्षान्तकम्. I adore Hanuman, the destroyer of the demons, who is present with tears of devotion in his eyes wherever the names of Lord Rama are sung. वेदवेद्ये परपुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेद प्राचेतसादसित् असीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मनः. When the Supreme Being, the goal of the Vedas, incarnated as Rama, the Vedas became Ramayana. The four Vedas I mentioned on another class. Four Vedas became Ramayana. श्रीराघवम् दशरथात्मजमप्रमेयम् सीतापतिम् रघुकुलान्वयरत्नदीपम् आजानुबाहुम् अरविन्ददलायताक्षम् रामम् निशाचरविनाशकरम् नमामि. I salute Rama, the son of Dasratha, who is peerless, who is the husband of Sita, and the light of the race of Raghu, who has long arms and lotus eyes. वैदेही सहितं सुरद्रुमातले हैमे महामण्डपे मध्ये पुष्पकांसने मणिमये वीरासने स्तुतितम् अग्रे वचयति प्रभञ्जनसुते तत्त्वं मुनिभ्यः परं व्याख्यान्तं भरतादिभिः परिवृतं रामं भजे श्यामलम्. I adore Rama, who is seated at the foot of the celestial tree on a flowery seat in a golden palace, along with Sita and his brothers, while his glories are sung by the sages. This is the initial prayers, Mangalacharana prayers to Valmiki, Lord Rama, Lord Hanuman, and then Lord Rama. Beautiful prayers. Now we'll get into the first, maybe the tattva aspect of it, where in Srimad Bhagavatam, some of the verses describing the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. Then we can get into the more intimate pastimes of the Lord. किं पुरुषवर्षे भगवन्तम् आदिपुरुषं लक्ष्मणाग्रजम् सीताभिरामं रामं तच्चरण सन्निकर्षाविरतः परम भागवत हनुमान् सह किं पुरुषैरविरता भक्तिरुपासुते. Sukadeva Goswami speaking this in fifth canto. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, My dear king, in Kimpurusha Varsha, the great devotee Hanuman is always engaged with inhabitants of that land in devotion service to Lord Ramachandra, the elder brother of Lakshmana and dear husband of Sita Devi. In different millenniums, different ways Lord appeared. That we'll see now in few verses. अरिष्टसेनेन सह गन्धर्वैरनुगीयमानान् परमकल्याणम् वक्त्र भगवत्कथाम् समुपशृणोति स्वयं चेदम् गायति. A host of Gandharvas is always engaged in chanting the glories of Lord Ramachandra. That chanting is always extremely auspicious. Hanumanji and Arishtisena, the chief person in Kimpurshavarsha, constantly hear those glories with complete attention. Hanuman chants the following mantras. Lord Hanuman is chanting. In Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Prabhupada is quoting the Lord Ramachandra, glorification of Lord Ramachandra given by Sri Rupa Goswami, the the incarnation appearance of Lord Ramachandra in different millenniums as described. Vasudevaj Rupanam Avatara Prakriti प्रकीर्तितः विष्णुधर्मोत्तरे राम लक्ष्मणादय क्रमा अदमि पद्मे तु राम भगवान् नारायण इतीरितः शेषश्चक्रं च शङ्खश्च क्रमास्युर्लक्ष्मणादयः मध्यदेश स्थिता अयोध्या पुरे अस्य वसति स्मृता महावैकुण्ठलोके च राघवेन्द्रस्य कीर्तिता. The Vishnu Dharmottara describes that Lord Ramachandra and his brothers Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna are incarnations of Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Viruddha. Vasudeva is for consciousness, or Lord Krishna, in this case, Lord Rama, Sankarshana is the Lord Balaram here, or Lakshmana, Pradyumna is Bharata, and Anuruddha is Shatrugna. In this way, four. In one meaning, this is. And Padma Puran, however, says that Lord Ramachandra is incarnation of Narayana, and that the other three brothers are incarnations of Sesha, Chakra, and Shankha. Therefore, Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan has concluded, Tad idam kalpa vedenaiva sambhavyam. In other words, these opinions are not contradictory. In some millenniums, Lord Ramachandra and his brothers appear as incarnations of Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Anuruddha, and in another millennium, they appear as incarnations of Narayana, Sesha, Chakra, and Shankar. The residence of Lord Ramachandra on this planet is Ayodhya. Ayodhya city is still existing in the district of the Faizabad, which is situated on the northern side of Uttar Pradesh. This is the Tattva aspect. A few more verses, then we will get into the Leela aspect. More, some of the pastimes are not being told or not known so much. Om Namo Bhagavate Uttama Slokaya Nama Arya Lokshana Sila Vrataya Nama Upasikshitatmana Upasita Lokaya Nama Sadhu Vada Nikasanaya Namo Brahmanya Devaya Mahapurushaya Maha Rajaya Namaiti. Let me please your lordship by chanting the Bija Mantra Omkara. I wish to offer my respectful obeisance to the personality of Godhead, who is the best among the most highly elevated personalities. Your lordship is the reservoir of all good qualities of Aryans, people who are advanced. Your character and behavior are always consistent, and you always control your senses and mind, acting just like an ordinary human being. You exhibit exemplary character to teach others how to behave. There is a touchstone that can be used to examine the quality of gold, but you are like touchstone that can verify all good qualities. You are worshipped by the Brahmanas, who are the foremost of all devotees. You, the Supreme Person, are the King of Kings. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. यत्तद्विशुद्ध अनुभवमात्रम् एकं स्वतेजसा त्वस्तगुणव्यवस्थम् प्रत्यक्प्रसादं प्रशान्तं सुधीय उपलम्भनम् हि अनामरूपं निरहं प्रपद्ये. Hanuman is offering this prayer. The Lord, whose pure form, Sachidananda Vigraha, is uncontaminated with the modes of material nature, can be perceived by pure consciousness. In Vedanta, he is described as being one without a second. Because of his spiritual potency, he is untouched by the contamination of material nature. Because he is not subjected to material vision, he is known as transcendental. He has no material activities, nor has he a material form or name. Only in pure consciousness, Krishna consciousness, can one perceive the transcendental form of the Lord. Let us be firmly fixed at the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra. Let us offer our respectful obeisance to those transcendental lotus feet, because this is the best. The Lord, out of so many devotees, especially the best way one can pray. When Lord Ramachandra asked, when everybody came back to Ayodhya, Lord Ramachandra asked, okay, you ask for boons. Then he gave many different, but Hanuman is the only one who always wants to be in your service. He never want to go back. So Lord, he is the best servant. Lord Ramachandra, I can never repay your debt. So much so that Hanuman, even when first time he met, in the case of Vali, Sugriva, Sabari told where how he can obtain Sita Devi by the help of Sugriva, Rishyas in the mountain, because afraid of Vali, he stays and so there you meet Sugriva and Hanuman, there he can help. So when he met, then Hanuman he asked Sugriva, and then he gave introduction, then Sugriva asked Hanuman, Lord Rama, then he gave introduction, Dasharatha, son. Now, then Lord Rama asked Hanuman, he said, no, you are the master, you should know who I am. I am your servant. Why are you asking me? You should know already, you are my master. So then the Lord accepted, the Lord gave his hug and to Hanuman, such an exemplary, the most humble devotee of the Lord. So when he came back also in Ayodhya after the whole the, the Ravana killing and everything is over, also Hanuman did so much service that so that he has taken all services. Every service he used to do, including washing the clothes to everything he used to do. Whatever Lord Ramachandra said, everything he has taken. So to such an extent, then they all decided, they made a plan. Sita they listed all the services, and the Sita they took gave all service to Lakshmana, to Bharata, Shatrugna, like that. But Hanuman didn't get any, not even a single service. Everything was assigned. Nothing was left. Then Lord Ramachandra looked at it and then, okay, he granted everything, he was fine. Then when he forgot about Hanuman, then when Hanuman came next day, uh, then he found out that there was no service. Every service was taken. All the devotees were there, they were serving. Then he was crying. He was sitting and meditating, crying. Lord Rama's names. Then he realized that one who is always in the mood of consciousness to serve. Without service of Krishna, then body is useless. One must do always serving Guru and Krishna. Service must be there to Guru and Krishna. Without service, no use of this body. There is a Tanuja, service of three types. There is Tanuja, there is also, what is the other one? Money is called what? The Tanuja, Manuja, and there's one more. One is using the body in the service of the Lord. One is using our wealth in the service of the Lord. And then the one is using the mind in the service of the Lord. The mind, many examples are there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The one Brahmana was meditating so much so that he was offering kheer and made a hot kheer and offered. And then he tried to just touch to make sure it's not too hot to offer to the Lord. Then when he touched it, his hand got burned. Then he awoke from his that meditation. Then he saw really the hand got burned. Another pastime has been told that Narottam Das Thakur, in his confidential service, Lalita Saki, has called into this mentally, in mind, he was doing Manasik Seva. This is in Vrindavan, along, when he was there with Jiva Goswami. Then Narottam Das Thakur was meditating. Then one day Lalita Devi told that Lalita Saki, offer milk. Then he went and brought the heat of the milk, and then he brought, put in a cup, and then he offered. Then he didn't realize. Then when he touched, then it was hot. Then hand got burned. Then he came from his meditation. Then he was putting that hand and putting inside so that nobody should see. Then Jiva Goswami seeing Narottam Das Thakur again and again, why is his hand inside? Then he asked him, show me what has happened. Then he realized what has happened. Then he understood what has happened. This pastime. So in this way, there are many other pastimes using the mind in absorbing in the service of the Lord, including the mind. Otherwise, mind is always distracted. So this, but the Hanuman is always one who is looking for service. So Lord Hanuman was meditating on Lord Ram. I need service. So he was chanting his name. Then he figured out the service. So when Lord Rama ends, then I should serve. When he's yanning, then I can make Nadaswara. I can clap. So then that's what is it. Lord Ramachandra said, okay, you can take that service. Nobody is doing that service, you can take. Then he stayed within the room where Lord Rama is sleeping. Then Sita Devi found out, oh, no, here, how can I sleep? So because she was shy, how can if Hanuman is here, then how can then Lord Rama requested, okay, Hanuman, you should be outside the room. Then how will I know whether you value and when you are not? So much so that then they used to do 24 by 7. He used to play that Nadaswaram. That because he was not knowing when he was. And then Sita Devi was disturbed. He cannot sleep. He can't sleep all the time. The sound is there. Then he stopped it. Then the Lord Ramachandra, what did he? He didn't have service. Then Lord Ramachandra's mouth was open only, continuously. It was never closing. Then they found nobody was able to find out why Lord Ramachandra's mouth is not closing. Then they called the Vasishta Muni. Then Vasishta Muni asked me everything what has happened. Then Vasishta Muni said, okay, because you didn't give any service to Hanuman, that's why Lord Ramachandra mouth is not closing. So then they figured out, okay, now you take everything. Also, we don't want any service. We don't want any disturbance. So you take all services. This way you can see that Hanuman is the great servant. And even when Lava and Kusha, there was Ashwamedha Yajna was happening, Lord Ramachandra performing. Then that time, Lava and Kusha, sons of Lord Ramachandra, met all of them. So they were being defeated. Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughat, and Bharata, Shatrughat. And then Hanuman came. So then Hanuman came. Then he was looking at them. Oh, he looks like my master's sons. Then he was meditating. Then he found out through meditation on Lord Ram that they are my master's sons. Then he was quiet. He was in meditation. Then they bind him. Then they told the mother Sita that this is what happened. Now today we got a big monkey. We can't hold him. He also couldn't win against us. Then Mother Sita was crying. Then they found out why she was crying. And then she explained because Hanuman is the one who has obtained, who has brought Sita, who has so much help to Lord Ramachandra, who did so much miraculous task. In this way, you can see that so much obedient service, humble service, always trying to serve, always looking for service, with so much absorption and full of consciousness. So that's why you can see here how his offering is firmly fixed at the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra. Let us offer our respectful ways unto the transcendental lotus feet. So that's why one must be always serve the Guru and Krishna. Without service, there is nothing. So further. मर्त्यावतारस्तु इह मर्त्यलक्षणं रक्ष वदा एव न केवलं विभो कुतो अन्यदा स्यात् रमत स्व आत्मना सीता कृतानि व्यसनानि ईश्वरस्य व्यसनानि ईश्वरस्य. It was ordained that Ravana, chief of the Rakshas, could not be killed by anyone but a man. For this reason, Lord Ramachandra, Supreme Personality God, appeared in the form of human being. Lord Ramachandra's mission, however, was not only to kill Ravana but also teach mortal beings that material happiness centered around sex life or centered around one's wife is the cause of many miseries. He is the self sufficient Supreme Personality of God and nothing is lamentable for him. Therefore, why else could he be subjected to tribulation by kidnapping of Mother Sita? So, Lord is teaching many different angles are there. So, another aspect, many things are mentioned. Another aspect of teachings of Lord Ramachandra is that although Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his devotees may apparently suffer from material tribulation, they have nothing to do with such tribulation. They are mukta purushas, liberated persons under all circumstances. It is therefore said in Chaitanya Bhagavat, यथा देखे वैष्णवेर व्यवहार दुख निश्चय जानी होता Paramananda Sukha. A Vaishnava is always firmly situated in transcendental bliss because of engagement in devotion service. Although he may appear to suffer material pains, his position is always called transcendental bliss in separation, Viraha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also came to teach this. Vipralam the emotions a lover and beloved feel when separated from one another are actually very blissful, although apparently painful. Therefore, the separation of Lord Ramachandra from Sita Devi as well as the consequent tribulation they suffered is but another display of transcendental bliss. That is the opinion of Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. In this way, we can see further. Navaisa Atma Vatam Suhruttama Saka Stri Lokyam Bhagavan Vasudeva Na Sruti Kratam Kasmalam Ashnuvita Na Lakshmanam Cha Api Vihatum Arhati. Since Lord Ramachandra is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva is not attached to anything in the material world. He is the most beloved super soul of all separate souls. He is their very intimate friend. He is the full of all of them. Therefore, he could not possibly have suffered because of separation from his wife. Nor could he has given up his wife and Lakshmana, his younger brother. To give up either would have been absolutely impossible. So, in various angles, in this canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, fifth canto, 19th chapter, these verses are being described. Now, let's read from further. So, interesting pastimes, already 54. Uh, yeah. So, first, this about the Lanka, why it is so. Before that, Vibhishan. Vibhishan is another great devotee of the Lord. Vibhishan is also says that when they are all came back to Ayodhya and they are about to leave, the Lord has sent, no, you all have to go back to your services. Vibhishan, you have to go back and rule the Lanka. But Vibhishan didn't want to go. Take up the service. He wants to be with Lord, like that, everybody. But finally, they have to go. Lord has told. Then Vibhishan asked, no, without your service, I cannot go. Then Lord said, then Lord had to give service. So then he told, okay, our family deity, Raghuvansa's family deity, Lord Ranganatha, Sri Rangam, the deity which is there in now Sri Rangam. So that is the deity has been given to Vibhishan to worship. is so much attached to worship, the puja, arati, and all devotion was attached to the Lord. So then, and then Lord Ranganatha has given one condition. Yeah, you can take me to Lanka, but once you put me down, you can carry me. But once you put me down anywhere, then I will not be able to move. I will not move. That is the condition. He said, all right, don't worry. Then while taking it, then suddenly he saw a lake and then he wanted to perform his duties and then perform the arati. Now then he saw it and he put the Lord down. That's how it became that is the place where now Sri Rangam is. Then he tried to lift him up. Then Lord was not moving. Then Lord told, no, I told you before. So then he said, but he was crying, no, I need service. I can't go to Lanka. I cannot perform my job. Then Lord Ramachandra told he was made. They said, no, you have to go, but I can do one thing. I will turn towards Lanka. I was always looking at you, Lanka. I will give my blessings to you, but I will be looking towards the direction of Lanka. So you can always remember me. I am always covering blessings to you. So in that way, that's why Lord Ranganatha, even now in Sri Lanka, is facing towards the Lanka direction. So in this way, all these great devotees, how much attachment they have to the Lord and the service, so to the lotus feet. We can understand from Vibhishan, from Hanuman. We can see that how this Lanka was built. Sri Lanka was built on top of a mountain called Trikotagiri. This Trikota was a piece of rock that broke from Mount Meru. Long ago, there was some discussion, interesting pastime, very nice past. There was some discussion between two Gandharvas. One Gandharva said Vasuki is such a wonderful, strong snake that when the Lord took incarnation as Matsya, he used Vasuki as a rope to tie on the horn of that fish to the boat where Maharaj Satyavrata and the Sapta Rishis were traveling in the dissolution water. This boat was kept safe due to Vasuki binding Matsya and the boat. The other Gandharva said, maybe he is strong, but do you think that he could be as strong as Vayu, Varuna, or Agni? The other said, he must be stronger than them. Otherwise, why did the Lord select Vasuki? While they were discussing in this way, Vayu, the deity of air, who is present everywhere, he couldn't tolerate this discussion. He personally came in front of them and asked them, what is this useless discussion? Who are you? They inquired, I am Vayu, he replied. Is there anyone as strong as me? Why do you even discuss these things? So that's why this pride can be very dangerous. We have to see. Don't you know that I am everywhere and I am listening to these things? One Gandharva said, well, I have seen Vasuki. I was the last one to creep into the water at that time. I have seen how strong he is. Vayu said, bring that Vasuki and we can test. Then Vasuki was brought and he challenged Vayu. What do you mean? I am so strong. Every time the Lord selects me, so there must be some reason. Vayu said, then we can test our strength. Vasuki said, I will coil around the Mount Meru 3 times, and you blow and see if we can open my coils. But they never considered Mount Meru whether they could do it. So somebody is trying to include other devotees and doing some bet or some argument or something. But the other devotee is not even aware that this is going on his name. And same thing is happening here. Mount Meru is in so much, is involved in so many planetary systems and whatnot. So, but they never considered Mount Meru whether they could do it. Always that's why you have to consult the other party without asking the devotee. You should not assume things. Whether they could do it. Around Mount Meru, there were so many insects and creatures. All the planetary systems are going around it. Vasuki went on there, and Meru did not mind. So many snakes were there already, but he didn't know there was going to be some sports. Vasuki coiled around Meru 3 times and started getting tighter and tighter. And then Vayu started blowing against Mount Meru in full force. Mount Meru started moving back and forth because Vayu was using all his strength and Vasuki was not going to give up. So it was not just Vasuki, but Vayu had to work on both the strength of the Mount Meru and the strength of Vasuki. And then Mount Meru started complaining and screaming, what is this? There are 3 parties involved in this, but I was never consulted. Why am I being given trouble like this? I am going to turn upside downward, create trouble. All the planetary systems will fall. Brahma heard all this and he appeared on the scene, telling Vayu and Vasuki, you have your kind of strength and he has his kind of strength. In your kind of strength, you are the most strong, and in his strength blowing, that you cannot do. So in that way, he is strong. When Vasuki uncoiled after sports, one rock was broken from Mount Meru and it fell on the salt ocean. This rock had 3 peaks, so it was known as Trikota. It was on the salty ocean for a long time. And then Vishwakarma, for the purpose of making a nice palace for the pastimes of Devas, he made this Sri Lanka and the city on the top of Trikota mountain. This is untold pastimes. So this is how Sri Lanka was made actually. So because of this, Vayu and Vasuki were fighting, and you can see draw the some instructions here, even at the end, as it is mentioned that yeah, as when Lord Brahma himself has to come down and stop this. So you have your kind of strength. You have to understand we shouldn't fight. That's why we should glorify other. We have to look at other devotees and find inspiration and do our service proper, not compare, not imitate others. So why and they both are rather could have combined together and serve more better. But rather not compare or not become envious or not think who is stronger, who is better, who is best in service. No, this is transcendental competition, but not like this. The gopis have transcendental competition. The court boys also have sometimes competition, but not like this. So this is not good in devotion service. So that we can see how this Lanka already 901. Let me read a little more and then we'll stop. So many pastimes, so many instructions from Dasarath Maharaj to all the each and every character in Ramayana. This is the beginning. Ramayana, how this Lanka has. And then Vishwakarma, for the purpose of making a nice palace for the pastimes of Devas, he made Sri Lanka and the city on the top of Trikota mountain. Later, Kuvera, the cousin brother of Ravana, took over this place. He also got an appointment as the treasurer of the Devas, so they didn't mind him using it. Kuvera was there for a long time, alone, for a long time. When Ravana, Vibhishna, Kumbhakarna, and Surpanaka went there for performing austerities, Ravana's mother Kaikashi became very envious that Kuvera was sitting on this wonderful Sri Lanka city. So she told Ravana, why don't you perform some austerities? See, the jealous and enviousness. This is always there, even among devotees also. We shouldn't have this kind of tendencies. It's not going to help in bhakti at all. Why don't you perform some austerities so that you can get benediction and kick him out of this place? Kaikashi was the wife of Vishravas, and Vishravas had another wife through whom Kuvera was born. These were co-wives. They were rivals. Kaikashi was inciting Ravana. You must perform some tapasya, some great austerities. Ravana performed austerities. Kumbhakarna performed austerities. Vibhishna performed austerities. Sopnaka also performed austerities, as well as Kara and Doshna. All they are one family. Each one was born with 1 hour 40 minute difference between them. Ravana, then Kumbhakarna, then Vibhishna, then Surpanaka, then Kara and Dosha. See, they were all in Himalayas performing austerity. When Brahma appeared before Ravana, he asked for all kinds of greedy benedictions. He got them. Kumbhakarna was thinking to ask for a benediction by which he will live forever. Then Nityatvam. Then Nitya means eternal, eternity. I want eternity, but somehow the material nature tricked Kumbhakarna. The word Devatta, the power of speech came in his tongue and tilted his tongue. Instead of Nityatvam, he asked for Nidratvam, sleep. So he asked for sleep. Brahma said, Tadastu, you can have it. Kumbhakarna said, what? No, I don't. I want to live forever, not sleep. Please stop this benediction. Brahma said, no, I have given you this benediction. I cannot take it back. He begged, this is not fair. It is a trick of Devas. I did so much austerity and now I am simply going to sleep. This is not proper. Why would a person ever perform austerity so that he can just sleep forever? And then die at the end. So Brahma felt very compassionate. All right, Kumbhakarna, you sleep for 6 months and then you get up. You eat for 6 months. Kumbhakarna went to sleep. At the end of 6 months, waking up was very difficult. They had to bring a huge army. The army would march on his body. Elephants and camels would walk over him. They would play bugles and put fire on his chest. Still, he would be snoring and wouldn't get up. After all we marched past shooting astras and creating a lot of noise. Then slowly he will feel some pain somewhere and then got up. When he got up, he would smash half of an army. He was a huge, big figure. As soon as he got up, he would ask, where is food? He hadn't eaten for such a long time. So he eats for 6 months. This is what he did before he went back to sleep again. While he ate, his education was done. Pandit would sit on both sides and read books to him. He would simultaneously eating and listening to the Shastras. In this way, he also became an expert archer. He got other benediction also. He was a great yogi. While sleeping, he would come out of his body in his subtle body. He would travel around and find out everything. One body was asleep, but in his Sukshma Sarir, Kumbhakarna visited Kailash, performed austerities, and got astras from Lord Shiva. Only his gross body couldn't be seen. Vibhishna was also praying. When Brahma came, he said, give me a devotion to the Supreme Lord. Ravana said, oh no, one more in the family. First Prahlad, now him. What are you doing? Brahma is here, so get something worthwhile. But no, devotion to the Supreme Lord. What will you do with this? You have become a demon. For the demon's devotee is a demon. You are not against Hari. You want to worship him. That was Vibhishna's benediction. And Surpanaka got a benediction for changing her form. Whatever form she wanted, she could take. That was how she was trying to attract Lakshmana and Ramachandra. She became a beautiful girl. She was saying, Ramachandra, I am so attracted by you. Ramachandra said, you, yes, anyone will be attracted by me. The only problem is that my wife is here. If she was not here, then I wouldn't mind. But look at my brother. He is also married, but his wife is not here. You check with him. Lakshman said, how is it possible? When my elder brother is in front of me, how can I do it? You go to my elder brother, he is just joking with you. She went back to Ramachandra and said, your younger brother is not interested in these things. You are the older one. Why aren't you interested? He replied, yes, I am an elder, but the point is that my wife is very wild. If she ever finds out that I am talking to you, I don't know what will happen. He is separate from his wife. Go to him. She went to him, but Lakshmana said, yes, his wife is wild, but she is not here now. You should be utilizing this opportunity. You go and try with him. And if that doesn't work, you just come back to me. So she went back to Ramachandra saying, see, your wife is not here now. Ramachandra said, yes, my wife is not here, but this brother is very political. When she comes back, he will tell her. So you first go to him, and if he is happy, then he won't tell. So she ran back to Lakshmana. By that time, Sita came. Swapnaka said, all this trouble is because of you. And she ran and picked Sita up. As soon as she did that, Lakshmana came with his sword and cut off the tips of her nose, ears, and breasts, and the original Rakshasi form came out. She was crying. Then she disappeared into the sky. Then Khara and Doshna came with 14,000 evil fighters from the demon dynasty. Ramachandra finished all of them with one arrow. Janasthan was a very strategical point. Janasthan was the last point in the mainland. If anyone could conquer the soldiers in Janasthan, then they could dare to cross the ocean and come to Sri Lanka. Ravana was so happy because Janasthan was there. Now, and Kara, Doshna, Surpanaka were just exploiting the area, eating rishis every day. He was so happy. And who can come to Sri Lanka? But then, so-called human being Ramachandra could do it. And he told Lakshmana, don't even move. I will do it. He killed 14,000 demon soldiers and Kara and Doshna were destroyed. When the news reached Ravana, he was thinking, now this is not true. It cannot be true. How can a human being kill 14,000 demons? So in this way, we can understand the glories of Lord Ramachandra and these various pastimes, how the demons can act, how the demons can pray and get weird benedictions. They don't want bhakti, they don't want service, they want all kinds of enjoyment. So that's what we can learn. So many parallels and instructions from Ramayana as each and every character. Vastu, tuning in to Ram Katha. We'll start with Ram Katha today. कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताष्टकम् वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्. I salute sage Valmiki, the nightingale, who sings in sweet voice the sweet name of Rama, Rama from the tree of poetry. वाल्मीकेर्मुनीश सिंहस्य कविता वनचरिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानदम् को न याति परां गतिम्. He who hears the roar, the story of Rama, of the lion Valmiki, the sage who roams the forest of poetry, attains the supreme state. Yan yapivan satatam ramacharitamritasaagaram atruptastam munim vande pracheta samakalmasham. I salute the sage, the pure Valmiki, who is not saturated even after constantly drinking the nectarian story of Rama. Gospadi Krutavarasim Maski Krutarakshasam Ramayana Mahamala Ratnam Vande Anilatmajam. I salute the great devotee, Lord Hanuman, who is the crest jewel of Ramayana, who crossed the ocean as if it was the footprint of calf, and who treated the demons as if they were the mosquitoes. Anjananandanam Veeram Janaki Sokanasanam Kapitasmakshahantaram Vande Lanka Bhayankaram. I salute Hanuman, the darling of Anjana, his mother, who put an end to the sorrow of Sita, who killed the demon Aksha, and who was the terror to the demons of Lanka. Manojavam Maruta Tulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vadatmajam Vanarayuta Mukyam Sri Ramadutam Sirasa Namami. I salute with bowed head Hanuman, who was the messenger of Lord Rama, who could move as fast as the mind of the wind, who was self-controlled, and was the foremost among the wise, who was the son of the wind god, and the foremost among the Vanaras. Ullangya Sindho Salilam Salilam Ya Soka Vashnim Janakatmajaya Adayatenaiva Dadaha Lankam Namami Tam Prajali Ranjaneyam. I salute Hanuman, who crossed the ocean playfully, who gathered the fire of sorrow that tormented Sita with it, burnt Lanka. आञ्जनेयमतीं पतालाननम् कञ्चनाद्रिकमनीय विग्रहम् पारिजातातरुमूल वासीनम् भवयामि पवमाननन्दनम्. I contemplate Hanuman with wide forehead and golden complexion who dwells at the root of the celestial tree. Yatra yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kripamaska Anjalim Bhaspavari Paripurna Lochanam Marutim Namata Raksha Antakam Rakshasantakam. I adore Hanuman, the destroyer of the demons, who is present with tears of devotion in his eyes. Wherever the names of Lord Rama are sung, वेद वेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेद प्राच्येतस्तदासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मनः. When the Supreme Being, the goal of the Vedas, incarnated as Rama, the Vedas became Ramayana. श्रीराघवम् दशरथात्मजमप्रमेयम् सीतापतिम् रघुकुलान्वयरत्नदीपम् आजानुबाहुम् अरविन्ददलायताक्षम् रामम् निशाचरविनाशकरम् नमामि. I salute Rama, the son of Dasharatha, who is peerless, who is the husband of Sita, and the light of the rays of Raghu, who has long arms and lotus eyes. Vaidehi Saitam Surada Druma Tale Aime Mahamandape Madhye Pushpaka Masane Manimaye Virasane Sustitam Agre Vachayati Prabhanjana Sute Tatvam Munibhya Param Vyakyantam Bharatadivi Parivrutam Ramam Bhaje Syamalam. I adore Rama, who is seated at the foot of the celestial tree on a flowery seat in a golden palace, along with Sita and his brothers, while his glories are sung by the sages. And these are the Mangalacharna prayers to Valmiki, Lord Hanuman, and Lord Ramachandra. So now we'll try to read something first from Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we'll continue. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. न जन्मनूनं महता न सौभगं न वा न बुद्धेनाकृतिस्तोषहेतु तैर्यद्विसृष्टानपि नो वनौकश चकार सख्ये बत लक्ष्मणाग्रजः. This is Lord Hanuman praying, offering his prayers. One cannot establish a friendship with Supreme Lord Ramachandra on the basis of the material qualities such as one's birth in an aristocratic family, one's personal beauty, one's eloquence, one's sharp intelligence, or one's superior race or nation. None of these qualifications is actually a prerequisite for friendship with Lord Sri Ramachandra. Otherwise, how is it possible that although we uncivilized inhabitants of the forest have not taken noble births, although we have no physical beauty, and although we cannot speak like gentlemen, Lord Ramachandra has nevertheless accepted us as friends? In a prayer to Prabhupada, in a prayer to Krishna expressing his feelings, Srimati Kunti Devi called him Akinchana Gochara, which means something of this material. Kinchana means possess. But one may be very proud of his prestigious position, material wealth, beauty, education, and so on. But although these are certainly good qualifications in material dealings, they are not necessary for achieving friendship with Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who possesses all these material qualities is expected to become a devotee. When he actually does, the qualities are properly utilized. Those who are puffed up by a high birth, wealth, education, personal beauty, Janmaisvara Sutri Sribhi Yedamana Madapuma Naivar Hutam Avivatum Vai Akinchana Gotam Akinchana Kuntimarani's prayer. Unfortunately, do not care for developing Krishna consciousness, nor does the Supreme Personality of Godhead care about all these material qualifications. The Supreme Lord is achieved by devotion only. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan. One's devotion and sincere desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the only qualification. Rupa Goswami has also said that the price for achieving the God's favor is simply one's sincere eagerness. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Rupa Goswami is mentioning, and Prabhupada took that and named our International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati Kriyatam Api Adilabhite Tatra Maulyam Ekala Maulyam Janma Koti Sukra Duvina Labhite. If at all, if somewhere this is sold, Krishna Bhakti is sold, then go ahead and immediately purchase with intense greed. That is the only price you have to pay, is intense greed one must have to develop Krishna Bhakti. So that's why Prabhupada used that Krishna Bhakti Rasabhavitamati. So the Krishna consciousness is coming from that the verse, Rupa Goswami's verse. Now in this verse, Prabhupada is quoting Chaitanya Bhagavat, devotee, great devotee who has served with humility and meekness, such a great friendship, which has Kolavecha Sridhar. Kolavecha सेवकेर देखा भाग्य सीमा ब्रह्मा शिवा कांडे यारा देखिया महिमा दोने जने पांडित्य कृष्ण नहीं पाया केवल भक्तिरा वासा चैतन्य गोसानी. Behold the great fortune of devotee Kolavecha. Lord Brahma and Shiva shed tears upon seeing his greatness. One cannot attain Lord Krishna by amount of wealth, followers, or learning. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is controlled only by pure devotion. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a very sincere devotee whose name was Kolavecha Sridhar and whose only business was to sell pots made of the skin of banana trees. Whatever income he had, he used 50% for the worship of Mother Ganga, and with the other 50% he provided for his necessities. On the whole, he was so very poor that he lived in a cottage. He had broken roof with many holes in it. He could not afford brass utensils, and therefore he drank water from an iron pot. Now, nevertheless, he was a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was a typical example of how poor man with no material possession can become a most exalted devotee of the Lord. The conclusion is that one cannot attain shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna or Sri Chaitanya Goswami through material opulence. That shelter is attainable only by pure devotion service. So that is an important aspect of all the Leelas, including Ram Leela also. It is mentioned by the Acharyas that one must do three things in a day. In the morning, one must discuss about the gambling, but indirect meanings are there. And in the afternoon, one must discuss about women. And in the evening, one must discuss about the thieves. What does it mean? In the morning, one must discuss about gambling. Means this is about Mahabharata. One must read and hear Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata. Bhagavad Gita is included within Mahabharata. And in the afternoon, one must read and hear about Ramayan, which is discussing about Srimati Sita Devi. And then the evening, one must read about Krishna, who is the thief, the most biggest thief, is Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. He is stealing the hearts of the gopis and those who are sincere devotees of the Lord and his representatives. So they are the ones. It is also mentioned Ramayan, Lord Rama, Lord Lakshmana, Lord Bharata, and Lord Shatrughna is mentioned as Lord Rama is God. Lord Bharata is order carrier of God. Lord Lakshmana is servant of God. Lord Shatrughna is servant of God. So these are four, all Vishnu Tattva, but you can see that God is one. Ekala Isware Ara Sabya Bhrutya. So only Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, Lord Ramachandra, he is the God, and then everybody else is serving. The Lord Bharata is the order carrier. He never took a pedestal to sit on the throne, even though he is a king. He could have done it, but throughout the journey from when he came, he was not there when this decision was made by KKE with the wrong association of mantra, spoiled the mind and brain and intelligence. So that's why we have to avoid asat sangat tyagi. Ekabhakta, one must give up the unwanted association, intimate association of those who are not devotees. So otherwise, our brains, mind, intelligence can be spoiled very quickly, rapidly. So Bharat Maharaj came at the time when the already decision is being made. Dasharatha Maharaj is also meant he is able to fight. He is a great king, such a way that he could fight 10 chariots. Thus, 10 chariots he could fight valiantly. He was even fighting for the demigods. Such a valiant fighter. But he was, and he was always followed by the Dharma. He had almost, I think, many wives, but he didn't have children. And he had performed these two yajnas and Putra Kameshti and then one more. And then that's how these four children were born under the guidance of the sages. So then Bharat Maharaj, and then one time when he was fighting with the demigod, he was so tired, and then his finger had a problem. That time Kaikeyi served how a wife should serve the husband, provided especially his Krishna conscious. It's even more important in that case. So the wife served, then obviously she asked for boon. Then he asked for, okay, you can take boons. Then Kaikeyi had requested. Then she will take later the boons, obviously. Then she used those boons, what she got, and the right time by mantras, wrong association, mind has been bewildered. So Kaikeyi had asked, my My son Bharata has to be enthroned, and the Lord Ramachandra has to be banished for 14 years in the forest. All those rules and a few other things are there. This was, and then Bharat Maharaj was summoned. He was there somewhere else outside of the kingdom. He's not even know. He's not even aware. This is also a very important instruction we're getting. All the way from Bharat Maharaj coming to the kingdom and knowing this news, all the way going and meeting to Lord Ramachandra and ruling everywhere the instructions are there. Bharat Maharaj is such an exemplary. So that's why he's order carrier. He was not thinking even to become a servant. He is servant of God. He is so humble. He was always serving in separation. Lakshmana, 14 years, he didn't sleep or he didn't eat, but he was serving. But at least he could get the feelings. He could see Lord Ramachandra. He could see whether Lord is happy with my service or not. But in Bharat Maharaj's case, he couldn't even see. Lord even not there. Lord only gave his padukas and he brought it and he put that on the throne and then he was ruling because on the order of Lord Ramachandra. He was sitting in Nandagram outside of the Ayodhya and he was sitting. So by carrying the instruction of Guru, in this case Lord Ramachandra being the master and Lord Bharata is following simply order carrier. He didn't think any otherwise, no diversion. Just simply carry, whether he liked it or not like it, whether it's so difficult. But still he carried on because that's where the power, strength, and the love and everything is there in that one simple instruction. So when Bharat Maharaj came, as this incident already happened, Dasharatha Maharaj agreed, okay, all right, because that is the boon you gave. He tried, Dasharatha Maharaj tried to persuade Kaikeyi, but she didn't budge at all. She didn't budge. So sometimes these things happen in the family life, married life. So we have to be careful. As long as Krishna is in the center, generally at least someone will be patient and tolerant and accept and move on. Because in the devotion service, especially in Sanatana Dharma, there is no question of separation at no point of time. Whether you like it or not like it, that's what it is. The relation is there till the end. So there is no question of separation and divorce and whatnot. All these are the modernized theories people have come up with. That is not because Krishna has to be in the center. So if at all, if you don't want them, they separate them, they stay separately. So, but that's how it is. The Sanatana Dharma is very, very especially bringing the souls together to serve Krishna, to serve his devotees and representatives, not for any other purpose. It is not question of you liking it or not like it. It's not your own pleasures. It is Lord and Guru and Sadhu's pleasing. That's what Bharat Maharaj, as he came, heard the news, then he was very, and then everybody is disturbed. Who is this? Bharat Maharaj is the conspiracy. He is the one who has done. Because of him, now we are all suffering. Everybody has to go through. Lord Ramachandra has to be banished. This is all because of Bharat Maharaj. So they all misunderstood Bharat Maharaj, why this incident has happened because of him. And Bharat Maharaj was very patient and tolerant. He met and Kaikeyi chastised Kaikeyi like anything. Why did you do this action? Such a disgraceful action. So then he saw, then he was explaining to everybody very patiently, tolerantly, even though he was not understood. He was misunderstood rather. Bharat Maharaj was patiently, he never gave up his devotion service. Rather, he went on with patience and determination all the way, even there, talking to everybody, explaining to the whole kingdom and different ministers and the whole thing, so that they are able to understand the birth point of view. And then finally, when he decided that rather he wants to put Lord Ramachandra, bring him back and put him on the throne. So that was the intention that people all understood. Then he took all of them. They all want to join him because that was his impression. That was his thought. Then they all liked it and they want to also do that. They all followed Bharat Maharaj. They all went. Most of the Praja went with Bharat Maharaj to bring Lord Ramachandra back. So you can see that how much determination. We also go through so many misunderstanding and difficulties in our bhakti process, along with the devotees, even within the family and everywhere. These difficulties and misunderstandings and difference of opinion is always there. But one who has a patience and tolerant vitsaha nisya dhairya tat karma pravartana sangatyago sutavrja sadbir bhakti prasiddhati. And we have that under the guidance of the shelter of the pure devotees, one who acts with patience and determination, then he will be sure to achieve the success. Lord is seeing what is there in the heart, how much sincere we are to actually please him, not for his own self satisfaction or for some other purposes, ulterior motives. Bharat Maharaj didn't have any other motives. His only reason is to how to please, how to bring Lord Ramachandra. That's why he's consoling and comforting. And even though his position was precarious, he was not in a position actually. He was very much completely tormented. His heart and mind and intelligence completely uh, became so much because in separation from Lord Ramachandra, how this could be done by Kaikeyi and all this. How did Dasharatha Maharaj agree to this proposal? He couldn't even digest any of this news. But because when you have the higher goal, then you digest everything. It is not your own, whether you are satisfied or not satisfied, whether you are in distress or not distress. What problems you have doesn't matter at that point. Devotion service has to be continued no matter what rain or shine or snow, whatever the case may be. It has to be continued as much as possible. We try our best. Only in emergency and exceptional case we may not be able to do, but otherwise devotion service can never be given. Without service, that's all. Lord Hanuman and all these warriors, Vibhishan, Sugriva, all of them are serving. Then Lord has taken all of them back to Ayodhya along with him. This is the purpose of this Ram Leela. So now we'll read a little more sweeter, and then we'll come to that. Yeah, this that one. Uh, what are we want to read? पदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदा लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्. We read yesterday, yeah, till Janasthan. This is the history of Ramayan, how this Lanka is built Trikota Parvat. All that was discussed yesterday during Krishna book class. I will continue. So everything he heard seemed to him to be like it was not true. When he went to Maricha and he said, please go and become a deer. Because Ravana went to approach Maricha and told him, so become a deer. He didn't agree because he already saw Maricha. 14,000 demons, Kara and Dusna were killed by single-handed by Lord Ramachandra. Ravana was not believing it. So that's why, Maricha is speaking. What? Become a deer and do what? What can a deer do to Rama? I still remember how he pushed me right across the mainland and threw me into the salty ocean with only a blade of grass. That is why I became a Babaji, not for searching after the absolute truth. In a fear of blade of grass, I became a Babaji as ascetic. Don't drive me in front of Ramachandra again. Ravana said, if you don't go, I will kill you. Maricha was thinking, Ravana will kill me anyway. Ravana or Rama. But it is better to die in the hand of Rama. Why die in the hands of this a demon? So Maricha said, I will go. Ravana said, I always knew you had a great affection for me. No, I don't have any affection for you. Then why do you want to go? Ravana asked. Well, who wants to die in your hands? Maricha said, I would rather die in the hands of Rama. And I know I will die, so I am going. And this is the, at least he had some speck of devotion, Maricha. But all other great devotees, whole Ramayan, each and every character, so much intense devotion. Jatayu or others, we see that how much devotion they had. Ravana made the biggest mistake in his life by kidnapping Sita. Ravana was a great scholar and pandit. He was known his Shastra Gnan. He knew all Shastras, what is used when utilized for wrong purpose. That's why Anukulyasya Sankalpa. Where will you get? That's why without service, there is no possibility of attaining Krishna Prema or even anything in life for that matter. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing a beautiful song. Atma Nivedana Tuva Pade Kori Hoino Parama Sukhi Dukha Dure Gila Chintana Rohilo Chaudi Ke Ananda Deki Asoka Abhaya Amrutadhar Tomar Charana Dvaya Tahata Ekona Vishrama Laviya Chadino Bavera Boya तुम्हार संसारे कोरिबो सेवन नाहिबो फलेरा बागी तवा सुख जाहे कोरिबो जतन कोई भी पद अनुरागी. This fourth line is important. तुम्हारा सेवाय दुख हय जातो से तो परम सुख. Without service there is no happiness. Only the service is the supreme happiness. Seva sukha dukkha parama sampada. This is Bharat Maharaj exemplified. Happiness or distress for him, whatever happens for him, it doesn't matter because service is the highest priority. He is ready to give his life. Lakshmana also the same thing. And this is why they are the great devotees, servants of the Lord. Seva sukha dukkha parama sampada nasaye avidya dukkha purva itihasa bulinu sakala seva sukhe te आए मने আমি তো তোমার তুমি তো আমার কি কাজা अपने अपरा धने भक्ति विनोद आनंद दुबुरिया तुम्हारे सेवार करे सवा चेष्टा करे तवा इच्छा मतो Sakiya Tomar Gare. I have become supremely joyful by surrendering myself at your holy feet. Unhappiness has gone away and there are no more anxieties. I see joy in all directions. Your two lotus feet are the reservoirs of immortal nectar, where one may live free from sorrow and fear. I have found peace there now, and I have given up the fear of the world and existence. I shall render service in your household and not endeavor to enjoy the fruits of that service, but rather I shall strive for whatever pleases you, fully devoted to your lotus feet. Is offering to Lord Krishna Chandra Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Fourth one is very important. Troubles encountered in your service shall be the cause of the great happiness. This is Kunti Maharani's prayer, this is Pandava's prayer, this is Prahlad Maharaj's prayer, this is Hanuman's prayer. How much troubles, how much they encountered. Sri Prabhupada's prayers. Always. Without service, there is no life. For in your devotion service, joy and sorrow are equally great riches. Both destroy the misery of ignorance. This is why did Sita Devi, despite vanishing, she is still eating. She was at least barely maintaining, because if at all Lord Ramachandra comes back and calls her back, then what is going to happen? By looking at her, and if she not maintaining her properly, and if she passes away, then Lord Ramachandra will be very much distressed, and he will not feel good. So that's why Sita Devi is maintaining still at that point. Same way gopis were maintaining themselves just to bear minimum to, so that if at all Lord Krishna comes back, they are so much in mood of separation, they are so much still existing and maintaining for Lord Krishna's pleasure. So that's where the service has to be done, not for our own pleasure, but always Guru and Krishna's pleasure. Even however difficult it is, the service has to be done. So that's why one must take up service always. I have completely forgotten all past history by feeling great joy in my mind. I am most certainly yours, and you are indeed mine. What need is there of any other treasure? But you know that driving into the ocean of bliss, the devotees all devotes all his effort for your service and dwells in your house according to your wishes. This is a great Acharya is showing by his example how one should be engaged with what mood, what consciousness one must engage in the service. Everything must be understood by the acharyas, previous acharyas. What pleases them? What did they like to honor? Prasad. So all these things must be understood, and we should cook on the important days, their appearance days, disappearance days, festival days. One must know what are the desires of the previous acharyas. Everything must be done for their pleasure, not what we like, what our family likes. That is at home we can do that, not at the temple, not for the deities. We should always do what Lord likes, what previous acharyas likes. Everything should be for their pleasure only, one and only. Further, here we'll read a few more minutes and we'll stop. Then why the Maricha and Ravana's discussion is happening? He was known as Shastrajnan. He knew all Shastra, all of the Vedas. He was expert. Nobody at the time had expert pronunciation of Ravana. Even in the Devas assembly, sometime when they had held sacrifice, they would bring Ravana for chanting verses. If someone is chanting Sanskrit verses, that does not necessarily mean he's a great devotee. Demons are also chanting Sanskrit verses. Vedaischa sarvai rahameva vedyo. This is the 15.15 verse Bhagavad Gita. Ultimately, Krishna has to be known. That is the essence. Not simply parrot reading is not going to help. Ravana read all the Vedas, yet due to his lust, he could not even accept that another man's wife should not be taken. He was so lusty, it is mentioned that even he has been told, Indra, don't go. Indra, not Agni. Agni has been told, don't go. Already, his spiritual master is told, don't go. You will be in great trouble. But still, he didn't listen. No, it's a great sacrifice. I should go. Then Agni went, not only with, then he has been told, no, don't go with your wife. You just go alone. Still, he said, how can I go to the Igna sacrifice? I am the 50%. My wife is another 50%. We both should go. Still, they went. And the result is, that's why we have to, Brahmana should not speak something negative. Guru Maharaj always chastised if any pujari, any Brahmana talking anything negative way, because it can be true. Most of the times it could become true. So that when somebody is instructing this, already sage has instructed, don't go. But still he has taken, and then he didn't listen. He went, and that's what happened. Ravana kidnapped Agni's wife. Such a this Ravana is so lusty. This is the biggest problem he had. Once he was performing a fire sacrifice, that's what is being described here. Agni appeared there with his wife in spite of Brahma. Brahma himself. Brahma is a master. All the demigods master is Brahma. He didn't listen. So that's why we have to be very careful. Whether you like it or not like it, when master is speaking, guru is instructing, you should follow. Consequences will be severe otherwise. And this is what it is, result. Telling him not to go there. This Ravana was a troublemaker. Agni said, look at his chanting, so perfect. So that's why don't be attracted by somebody's kirtan, somebody's chanting. No, what devotion they have in the heart. What are they following in their day-to-day life? That is what we have to look at. That's how you know whether is what kind of devotee he is. Not by externals. Bhakti is always internal. Otherwise, you will be trapped, so much trapped in Maya. Such wonderful installation of fire. So I must go there personally. Brahma said, all right, go, but don't take your wife. So then Agni said, how is it Vedic that one goes without his wife? If I go without her, I'm only with 50%. I must go with my wife. Brahma said, well, if that is written in your head, what can I say? You go. So Ravana was circumambulating the fire with folded hands, chanting mantras, and then Agni came. Ravana, I am here. And Ravana looked around. Not only was he there, but Agni's wife, Swaha Devi, was also there. She looked so beautiful as fire. She is actually the flame of the fire. When Ravana looked at her, immediately lifted her and flew away in the middle of his yajna before contemplating it. This kind of devotion, no use. Doesn't matter how great, how scholar he is, what is the use? If you are not able to control the senses, the first aspect before even initiation, this has been mentioned, Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Instruction. If that is not there, what kind of devotee are you? Before completing it, the priests were shouting, Ravana, at least do the Purnahuti. What Purnahuti? Ravana replied, woman is more important. So Agni was shouting, please give me my wife back. I will give you anyone, but don't take my wife. That's what happened here. So you can understand how much these kind of people are there showing a show battle business of bhakti, discussing Krishna Katha or doing kirtans, professional reciters. What is the use? This kind of then there is no transformation. So that's why we have to be very careful. Whom we surrender to, whom we hear from, whom we follow, whom we take association from. Otherwise, it will affect us. It will affect our consciousness severely. So, in this way, we can see. We'll continue tomorrow. This discussion is not done.